You used to be important, but now you're somewhere foreign. I don't think that there's room in my mind for you and the things you do anymore.
Hey everyone, I'm Mackayla. Welcome to the Soundtrack of Our Lives podcast. We're going to jump right in with the two hardest questions of all. Who are you and what have you been up to recently?
Those are very hard questions. I am Kairos the Writer. I am a songwriter, and artist, producer slash producer. What have I been up to? I've been on a journey to create music and develop my sound and share it with the world.
That's a good journey.
It's a hard journey. Yeah,
Yeah, so you recently put out an EP.
that's right.
That's super exciting.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I was very excited about that one, especially that one. Yeah.
Why especially that one?
Because I think it was the first of a batch of songs that for me mark like a, what can I call it? Um an evolution to my growth as a artist. Yeah, so I was excited to see the feedback on how I've developed since the last batch of music I released.
What did people think?
I think most people were pretty impressed. They liked the concept, the journey, and I kind of varied the tracks to be pretty different. So you had some people loving some songs and not so much others, and vice versa. But all in all, there was something for everybody, which is what I went for.
How did you choose which songs to put on the EP?
Um, Partially just what felt right. There was actually three other songs that had to drop that were supposed to be on there,
Mm-hmm.
but on my last, like, on the final decision, I decided to drop them because they just didn't feel complete enough, or I felt like I hadn't done enough with them. And
Mm-hmm.
then also just like sending them to a few of my very honest friends who kind of helped me be a bit more objective with what I was putting out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Will we ever hear those three songs?
Potentially one of them for sure. There was one that didn't come out just because it wasn't, I couldn't get the production done in time.
Mm-hmm.
So that one is definitely coming out. Then the other two, we'll see. We'll see. I might have to revisit those and see what I can do with them.
Mm-hmm. It's good that you
Yeah.
have some honest friends.
You need them as an artist. I think it's very easy to get stuck in a loop of making the same stuff, or becoming, or like reaching a plateau and not growing, because people around you can get to the point where they just say, "Oh, it's great, it's good, it's
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's not always the easiest thing to hear." So it could be a real hit to the ego, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think it's important.
How do you deal with the hit to the ego that it takes sometimes?
I guess just knowing that it's coming from a good place, it's coming from a loving place, it's coming from a place where they want to see you grow, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately it's needed. Um, so I look at it as, I look at it from a place of love, so I receive it. So I actually prefer the the honest, cutthroat criticism, like, I don't like this part, that doesn't make sense, or just scrap this whole thing, I don't like it. And then obviously I've also learned to stand on my own beliefs when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to music. There's certain songs I might think are amazing, and then half of the room don't like it, but if I really like it, then I'm gonna stand by it. So it's finding that balance as well.
Yeah. How do you find that balance?
Um, Essentially, what I first do is I hear people out, hear what they have to say, and then I try to kind of take a step backwards and see, like, how is it more of an opinion, or is it more of an objective truth. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? So for example, they might say there's a very bad mix, the vocals don't sound they're pitchy or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I can, if obviously like when you listen to something a lot of times, sometimes your perception of what you're hearing gets skewed, but
Hmm.
that kind of brings you back and you can kind of hear truthfully if that's the case or not. I can like solo out the track and hear that. So there's that. And then if it's more of they just don't feel it. If it's more of a feeling thing, then I weigh up, I weigh up with how I feel about the track.
Hmm.
So if I feel really strongly that I think it's a great track or I just love the track and I want it to be out, then I'll fight for it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good balance because you do have to, you're the one who made the music. It means the
Mhm.
most to you.
Yeah. The way I've always done it is like I always say if I like the song, then I'm sure that there's at least, I don't know, 100,000 people or thousands and maybe even millions of people who have a similar taste to me.
Hmm.
Maybe not exactly the same, but a similar taste or a similar experience of music. So I always assume that I'm not the only one who's going to like it. So, I don't need everyone to like it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Not everyone's always going to like everything. That's just life,
exactly. Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. It's something you gotta deal with quite early on as an artist who's, you're putting yourself and your music and your art out there. So you're subject to a lot of opinions.
Hmm. Why did you choose to go by a stage name versus using your name?
Um, that's a good question. I think it was the separation between the professional side of music and having a normal regular life
Hmm.
outside of music. I wanted that to be very clear. Um, I think that's the main reason. I think a lot of times people can get caught up in all the hype, or especially if you're buzzing, or what I mean, people are praising you, or even the opposite. Either way, you kind of get caught up in the whole like machine of the music industry,
Hmm.
and I want to be able to have a clear separation between who I am as an artist and who I am outside of that.
Yeah. What would you say are the main differences between the two personalities?
That's a good question. I think the main differences is who I am outside of music is more about how I perceive myself,
Hmm.
and who I am as an artist is more about how I feel I'm perceived by others.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah. And
sometimes, oh, sorry, what did you say?
now I was just gonna say that, which is kind of as an artist, it's kind of dangerous to view yourself how you're perceived by people, but I think you need to be honest about like how you come across.
Well, I think everyone should understand how they come across, not just
Yeah,
artists.
yeah, no, for sure.
How is, or is it difficult to switch between the mindsets sometimes?
Yes, yeah, 100%. Especially in times of like when you're actually performing and you get people that come up to you, oh, that was great, that was this, that was that. I like to at those times I think that it comes a bit blurred because it's like, are they talking to you? Are they talking to your music? Are they and it's one of them ones where I try my best to like receive the praise or receive the criticism and at the same time be like, well, it's not fully me, or I can't like let it go to my head and all that kind of
Hmm.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be difficult because you don't know which side of you they're talking to.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I think it's just a balance that you got to kind of do, just separate yourself in that way, just have that balance as much as you can. It is hard though.
Yeah. It's a lot easier when you have, the two different names.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like no one, I would say my close circle would call me by my stage name unless like we're in a musical setting and I'm using that name for
Hmm.
that specific context. So it's like it makes it easier because I know when someone addresses me as Kairos the writer, that they're addressing the artist. Do you know
Hmm.
what I mean? Most of the time. So I take it that way. And then if you're calling me by my government name, then yeah, I take it that way.
You can switch off the professional side.
I try my best to. I try my best to. Yeah.
Yeah, so you mentioned live shows. So for somebody who hasn't seen you live, what could they expect?
Um, that's a good question. I'll put it this way. I'll say what I try to do when I'm on when I'm doing a live show. I try to have um a more intimate experience. So I usually strip down the songs or have like an acoustic version. And I like to focus on what I'm saying and making sure that the words and the lyrics are being portrayed in a way that people really hear what I'm talking about. Outside of that, I like to improvise a lot, so you might hear a freestyle here and there in between my songs as well.
That's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. I mean, most of the shows that I've done have just been like I'll go with like a guitar or somebody playing for me, and then I'll perform with them like that.
Hmm.
Yep.
Do you have any super memorable shows or venues that you've played?
Ooh, yes. Let me think. What I think it was the is it the O2? The small one. What's it called? I can't remember the name of it now. It's the one. I think it's in Bush Hill Park. Not Bush Hill Park. Shepherd's Bush. I'm thinking of my local area. Shepherd's Bush. Somewhere around there. We did a show for an artist called Marley Music. We opened up for. That was pretty awesome. I'm trying to think of any other cool things. And then I'm also opened up for one of my friends called Happy Music. He was releasing it. He was launching an EP. That was a pretty cool show. Um, mm, I think those are probably my two biggest ones that I remember. Yeah,
Hmm. That's fun that you were able to open up for your friend.
yeah. No, it was awesome. It was cool. I like seeing my friends kind of do things and flourish, especially in this kind of music industry. So I'm always down to help out and support them.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
it can be hard to support your friends. I mean, you want them to do well, but at the same time, you can be like, why is that not me?
Yeah, it's definitely a trap that you can fall into. But the way I see it is if any of my musically inclined friends or even just any of my friends were to really hit it big, it's like a ripple effect. It will come to you as well, you know.
Hmm.
It's like I don't know, at least like from what I see, the the biggest artists out there, usually they have their best friends and family members around them, flourishing with them,
Yeah.
either just being around or they give them like little jobs like managing this and that. Do you know what I mean? So um that's how I like to look at it. So which helps me when those kind of like thoughts come, they will come. Like I
Hmm.
think it's just human nature to want to thrive
Yeah.
and for the best, you know what I mean? So that's how I deal with those kind of thoughts when they come.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. I mean, I think it's easy for people when they make it big to bring your friends along because you know those people know who you are.
Exactly.
They're not going to
Yeah.
just say yes.
Exactly. Yeah, you need that. You need that. It's important.
How do you balance, work, life, and music?
Oof. Not very well. So well, to be honest, I work kind of like a part-time work. My schedule is kind of part-time where I work. So I usually have a bit more free time to throw music in. So what I kind of do is music is usually like something I do early in the mornings or late in the evenings, or I pick a day that I'm not working and then I'll work on stuff. And then outside of that, I think naturally I'm just a creative, so I'm always creating on the go, even at work. There's always a thought in my mind that, oh, maybe I should turn that into a song. Maybe I should write this lyric. So I'm always like creating in that regard. So it keeps me going until the next time I get to sit down and actually, work on something.
What does that songwriting session look like for you?
Um, my songwriting experience has evolved quite a lot. At the beginning, it started with I would sit down with a notepad and I would write some lyrics. It would, it would take me quite a long time. And then what I used to do to help me with that would be like, as I go about my day, I might have an idea or a line, I'll write it down. And then by the end of the week or whatever, I would have like a bunch of ideas or lines that sounded nice. And then I'll try to throw all of those into like an idea or a song. And that kind of sped it up a little bit. Currently now, what I currently do is I punch in my lines. So I literally just record the first line as it comes to me,
Hmm.
think for a little bit, freestyle the next line, and then I record them in like that without writing it down first, which I found is the best way for me to kind of get my lyrics out as fast as
Hmm.
possible.
I'm glad you found the way that works for you.
Yeah, it took a while. I went through a lot of different kind of techniques and studied a couple different artists and like how they were in like writing songs and stuff like that. So yeah, this is the one that kind of sat with me. I always tend to find that my mind races way too much when I'm trying to get one idea down.
Hmm.
So it's like I kind of get into that analysis paralysis where I'm like, oh, should I go with this idea or this idea? That idea sounds a bit corny. That so now I kind of go with the first thing that comes. I'll
Hmm.
just put it down, and I've like learned to trust myself a little bit more in terms of what comes out.
That's good. Yeah, it's hard when there's so much advice on different ways to songwrite.
Yeah, yeah, and there's no like wrong way. I think it's just what comes naturally for you. I know really, really great writers who still write with a pen, who write down notepad, like a physical pen. Then some people write on their phones. Um, yeah, I know like all the different ones and they all sound amazing. So I
Hmm.
think it's just about finding what works best for you and the way that you process your creative process, the way you process ideas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Before I ask the last question, was there anything else you want to mention or talk about today?
Uh, hmm, mm, mm, not really, nothing that I can think of. I guess I would say I got a lot more music coming
Ooh,
very soon. Currently working on another alternative type genre project, which is going to be a bit more on the, I would say, like slash emo rap and indie kind of vibes. So I'm working on that currently, and hopefully around the New Year's, I'll be letting people know a bit more about that.
that's exciting.
Yeah, there's a few good songs that I worked on around this time last year, actually. So yeah, I compiled some of them and they sound pretty cool and I want people to hear them. So yeah, that one's gonna be a bit more of an emotional roller coaster, but I think people will relate with it.
Okay. So, our last question is, what is the soundtrack of your life?
Oh, soundtrack of my life. Is that like the song that I think most lines up with my life? Is that what we're
Well, it's whatever you want it to be because it is your life.
hmm, well, I guess in that case, I would say that the soundtrack of my life is something like a jazz improv session because you never know what's going to happen next.
Hmm.
But there's always certain patterns and themes that run through it.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
For all of our listeners who want to stay updated on you, hear the old music, hear the new music when it comes out, maybe see you live, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok on Kairos The Writer. And Kairos is spelled Kairos, The Writer. And you can also find me on Spotify by the same name. Yeah,
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today.
it's been a pleasure.
Have a nice rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Things you do anymore.